What if one of the biggest names in comedy was actually warning everyone long before the headlines started appearing? Over the past few weeks, social media has been flooded with discussions surrounding Sean Diddy Combs, celebrity connections, and claims made by people who say they've witnessed what was happening behind closed doors. But now, another name has suddenly entered the conversation in a major way: Sly Diggler. During a recent interview, Sly Diggler made claims that quickly spread across YouTube, TikTok, and X, with thousands of people debating whether his comments revealed new information or simply added another layer to an already explosive story. And that's where things get even more interesting. Because as clips from Sly Diggler's interview began going viral, many viewers immediately started pointing back to something Katt Williams said months earlier. Suddenly, old interviews were being reposted, reaction channels were weighing in, and people were asking the same question. Was Katt Williams trying to tell everyone something all along?
Harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit. I kind of get one here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to.
When Sly Diggler's name first started trending alongside the Diddy controversy, many people had the same question. Who exactly is Sly Diggler? And why are so many viewers suddenly paying attention to what he has to say? For longtime followers of online entertainment culture, Sly Diggler isn't exactly a new face. Over the years, he has built a reputation for appearing on podcasts, discussing celebrity culture, and sharing stories about people he claims to have encountered throughout his life and career. While some viewers see him as an insider with connections to the entertainment world, others remain skeptical and question the accuracy of some of his statements. But regardless of where people stand, one thing is impossible to ignore. Whenever Sly Diggler speaks on a major celebrity topic, people listen. And that's exactly what happened when he recently began discussing Diddy and the growing controversy surrounding some of Hollywood's most talked about figures.
Since Baby Mother was definitely like a power move.
Oh yeah.
And then he records, so he keeps these recordings. So what I was thinking is like, what if he can be on some shit like, if he really want to get at it, like, look at your baby mama fucking on these dudes,
right,
like
getting slutted out.
Yeah, getting slutted out, like to really piss him off. Like maybe I feel like sometimes, I feel like he uses the recordings for leverage, so low key.
Yeah, because I've been around Diddy before. I've been at parties with him. There's no shortage of women that are approaching him, right? So out of all the billions of women in the world, you pick the baby mother of someone who doesn't like you.
Right.
And do you feel that this was like him doing that on purpose to get back at 50?
Definitely. It was definitely
According to Sly Diggler, there were aspects of celebrity culture that the public rarely gets to see. During his interview, he spoke about exclusive parties, industry relationships, and the way certain powerful figures allegedly operated behind the scenes. His comments quickly started spreading across social media. Clips from the interview were reposted across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X, generating thousands of reactions within hours. Some viewers believed his statements added new context to conversations that were already taking place online. Others argued that his claims should be viewed carefully until more evidence becomes available.
It's just like a night to day thing, night to day. So, yeah.
Okay, well, most human beings can't have a session like that for 16 hours. Sober.
With a little break in between.
Well, sober.
Yeah.
And you would show up and they'd be geeked up.
Sometime, they would, it depends on what night it was. Like I could tell when they were more geeked up than other nights, and but they were always on some type of something.
Right. And there'd be a tray of drugs in the room.
Yeah, they party hard. They party all night. So I was like, they be partying for probably like 3 days straight.
Wow.
So I can only imagine. I know that I can only imagine. Like, I know they was probably bringing another dude in. They would tell me that it wasn't no other guys though.
Right.
She would act like I'm her boyfriend or something. Like,
okay.
I cut the bullshit.
I've interviewed at least 2 or 3 other guys. So
yeah, we text normal. She even I needed some help with getting a hotel one time. She sent me money for a hotel and shit like that. But it was one time. Sometimes I hit her up when I'm in LA. Like if they were together, then they would come and see me. One time I hit her up. I was in LA and she came through. They booked the London. They booked the London, and I pulled up, and I did my thing, got up out of there quick. That was probably the quickest session we had. Like, it was like a couple of hours.
Okay, what type of drugs would be out there?
Shit. I mean, he would be offering me like honey packs and like different dick pills, and sometimes he would offer me a pill, and she would be like, "Nah, don't do that." Like most of the time, she didn't want me to do no drugs. I think she was kind of like protecting me from doing drugs. But I don't know what the hell they had. I mean, I seen the pills. I didn't know what the fuck it was, but I seen pink cocaine, shit, and different pills and shit. I don't know. And they had like.
What made the situation even more interesting was the timing. At a moment when public attention was already focused on Diddy and several ongoing discussions surrounding the entertainment industry, Sly Diggler's interview arrived at exactly the right time to capture attention. Suddenly, creators, commentators, and reaction channels were analyzing every statement he made. Old interviews were resurfacing. New theories were appearing daily. And before long, another familiar name entered the conversation: Katt Williams. As people compared Sly Diggler's comments with things Katt Williams had said in previous interviews, many began wondering whether these stories were somehow connected. And that question would soon become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the entire controversy. At this point, the story exploded far beyond a single podcast interview. What started as a conversation involving Sly Diggler quickly turned into one of the most discussed celebrity topics online. Within hours, clips from the interview were being reposted across multiple platforms, with viewers debating exactly what his statements meant and whether they supported rumors that had circulated in entertainment circles for years. According to Sly Diggler's account, there were aspects of celebrity culture that ordinary fans never get to see. He described an environment where influence, status, and access often determined who was invited into certain circles and who remained on the outside. As the interview continued, some of his comments generated particularly strong reactions online. Viewers began clipping short segments and sharing them independently, causing the conversation to spread even faster. Soon, reaction channels were breaking down every statement frame by frame. Some creators argued that Sly Diggler was revealing information that many people had suspected for years. Others pushed back, reminding viewers that personal claims should not automatically be treated as established facts. Regardless of which side people supported, the public response was undeniable. Millions of views began accumulating across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, and X. Headlines appeared almost immediately, and discussion forums were flooded with debates about what Sly Diggler had actually said and whether any of it could be verified. The situation became even bigger when viewers started connecting his comments to previous interviews given by other public figures. Suddenly, old clips that had been forgotten for months or even years were being shared again. People weren't just talking about Sly Diggler anymore. They were comparing his statements to comments previously made by entertainers, comedians, and industry insiders who had discussed Hollywood culture in the past. That's when many viewers began bringing up Katt Williams. Across social media, users started posting side-by-side clips, claiming that some of the themes discussed by Sly Diggler sounded similar to points Katt Williams had raised during earlier interviews. Whether those comparisons were fair or not, they helped push the story to an entirely new audience. And as the conversation continued to grow, one question kept appearing over and over again. Was Sly Diggler revealing something new? Or was he simply repeating concerns that other people had already been talking about for years? That question would soon place Katt Williams right in the center of the discussion. As Sly Diggler's interview continued spreading across social media, another familiar name began appearing everywhere in the comments section: Katt Williams. At first, the connection wasn't obvious. After all, Katt Williams wasn't part of Sly Diggler's interview, and he wasn't responding directly to any specific claim. But that didn't stop viewers from making comparisons. In fact, thousands of people began sharing clips from Katt Williams' now famous appearances where he discussed the entertainment industry, celebrity culture, and what he believed was happening behind.
Sean Diddy Combs could be facing new criminal charges as the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office begins reviewing a new case against the music mogul. TMZ reporting the case is all tied to sexual battery allegations. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joining us now. We are also learning, Jeff, that the case involves a publicist who initially filed a police report in 2025, so not long ago. Tell us more.
So TMZ reports Jonathan Hay is the publicist who filed that report, claiming Diddy sexually battered him in 2020 and then again in 2021, following a multi-month investigation by the LAPD detectives, then presenting their findings to prosecutors. In the report, Hay says he was working with the son of Biggie Smalls, his name CJ Wallace, and Combs would show up from time to time while they were working. Then in September 2020, Hay claims he ended up in a room with Combs, who masturbated into a shirt before telling him to participate. He also claims Combs took the shirt and then threw it at him. The following year, Hay claims he flew to LA to continue that project with Wallace, where Combs allegedly forced his genitals onto him. While reps for Combs have not publicly responded to this new allegation, his civil attorney did speak out last fall saying, quote, "Let's make it absolutely clear Mr. Combs categorically denies as false and defamatory all claims that he sexually abused anyone." Now, according to TMZ, LAPD detectives investigated for several months and just recently submitted the case to the DA, who will now determine if there's enough evidence to actually charge Combs. The music mogul is currently serving a 50-month sentence in federal prison after being found guilty last year on prostitution-related charges. As of right now, he's scheduled to be released in early 2028.
For years, Katt Williams has built a reputation as someone willing to challenge powerful figures and speak openly about topics that many celebrities prefer to avoid. Whether people agree with him or not, his interviews often generate headlines because of how direct he can be. That reputation became even stronger after his viral conversation on Club Shay Shay, where several of his comments dominated social media for weeks. As viewers watched Sly Diggler's interview, many felt that some of the broader themes sounded familiar, not necessarily because the two men were discussing the exact same events, but because both conversations touched on the idea that there may be aspects of celebrity culture that ordinary fans rarely see. Soon, creators across YouTube started producing comparison videos. Some argued that Katt Williams had been warning people about problems within the entertainment industry for years. Others disagreed and said viewers were reading too much into the similarities. Still, the comparisons continued growing. Across social media, users reposted older Katt Williams clips alongside newer Sly Diggler footage, creating the impression that separate conversations were somehow connected. Whether those connections were accurate or not, they helped fuel public curiosity. And once curiosity takes over the internet, stories tend to move very quickly. Within days, reaction channels, celebrity blogs, and entertainment commentators were discussing the same question. Why are so many people connecting Katt Williams to this story? Part of the answer comes from timing. When audiences hear controversial claims, they often look back at previous interviews searching for clues or warnings they may have missed. That appears to be exactly what happened here. As more viewers revisited Katt Williams' older statements, many began wondering whether some of his comments had taken on a completely different meaning in light of current events. Of course, interpretations vary depending on who you ask. Supporters believe Katt Williams has consistently spoken about issues within the entertainment industry. Critics argue that people are selectively choosing clips that fit a particular narrative. But regardless of which side someone supports, one thing is clear. The moment Sly Diggler's interview went viral, Katt Williams became part of the conversation. And as more celebrities started weighing in on the controversy, the story only became bigger. Because the next person to enter the discussion wasn't just another commentator. It was someone with a long and very public history involving Diddy himself. And that person was 50 Cent. By this point, the conversation had moved far beyond interviews and podcast clips. Social media had officially taken over. Almost overnight, thousands of users began posting their own opinions, reactions, and theories about the growing controversy. Across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X, people were debating whether Sly Diggler's comments had revealed something important or whether the internet was simply connecting dots that weren't actually connected. One of the biggest reasons the story spread so quickly was because short clips started circulating everywhere. Users were taking brief moments from interviews, adding captions, editing together comparison videos, and sharing them with millions of viewers. As a result, people who had never even watched the full interview suddenly found themselves discussing the story. The algorithm did the rest. Every new reaction created another reaction. Every theory inspired another theory. And before long, the conversation seemed impossible to escape. What made things even more interesting was the way audiences started revisiting old content. Interviews that had originally received modest attention suddenly began collecting new views. Older podcast appearances resurfaced. Archived clips were reposted. Even comments made years earlier were being analyzed by creators looking for possible connections. For many viewers, it felt like a giant puzzle. Everyone was searching for clues. Everyone was comparing statements. And everyone seemed convinced they had discovered something everyone else had missed. Of course, not everyone agreed. Some users urged caution and reminded viewers that viral claims should always be approached carefully. Others argued that social media often moves faster than facts and that speculation can sometimes take on a life of its own. Still, disagreement didn't slow the conversation down. If anything, it made the story grow even faster. The more people argued, the more attention the topic received. The more attention it received, the more creators jumped into the discussion. Soon, entertainment blogs, reaction channels, and celebrity commentators were all covering the same story from different angles. And as the online debate continued getting louder, another familiar figure suddenly found himself pulled back into the spotlight. Because whenever Diddy becomes the center of a major controversy, there's one celebrity people immediately expect to hear from. And that celebrity is 50 Cent. The moment his name entered the conversation, the story reached an entirely new level. If there's one celebrity who has never been afraid to publicly criticize Diddy, it's 50 Cent. For years, fans have watched the back and forth tension between the two hip-hop giants. Sometimes it came in the form of jokes. Sometimes it came through social media posts. And sometimes it became the center of major entertainment headlines. So when Sly Diggler's interview started gaining traction online and Katt Williams' old comments were being revisited, many people immediately began asking the same question. What does 50 Cent think about all of this? The reality is that 50 Cent has built a reputation for commenting on controversial stories involving major celebrities. Whether through interviews, social media, or public appearances, he rarely stays silent when a major entertainment story dominates the news cycle. As discussions surrounding Diddy continued growing, fans started revisiting many of 50 Cent's previous comments and posts. Some supporters argued that he had been questioning aspects of celebrity culture for years. Others believed people were simply reinterpreting old statements through the lens of current events. Either way, interest in his perspective exploded. Reaction channels began creating videos analyzing every post. Social media users searched for old interviews. Entertainment blogs started highlighting past moments where 50 Cent had publicly spoken about Diddy.
Look, as much as people feel like I haven't had issues with Puffy. I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that he would do and make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy, we're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have that thing where we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
Right.
And we wasn't doing that. Right. So it gets to, with Jay, definitely not that. That's definitely not. It's just being competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I look at it, I go, whoa. So I always go into what would I do in a situation like this? Like when that type of thing happens.
What makes 50 Cent's involvement so interesting is the history. Unlike many celebrities who avoid controversy, 50 Cent has often embraced public disputes. His willingness to speak openly has made him one of the most quoted figures whenever major entertainment scandals emerge. As a result, viewers naturally started connecting his previous comments to the growing conversation surrounding Sly Diggler and Katt Williams. Of course, opinions remained divided. Some believed these connections supported a larger narrative. Others argued that viewers were making assumptions based on unrelated comment. But regardless of where people stood, one thing was obvious. The story had become much bigger than a single interview. And just when audiences thought the conversation couldn't get any larger, another familiar voice entered the spotlight. A voice that has spent years making headlines with controversial claims about the entertainment industry. That voice belonged to Jaguar Wright. By now, the story had already captured the attention of millions. But when Jaguar Wright's name started appearing in discussions, the conversation entered an entirely new phase. For years, Jaguar Wright has been one of the most outspoken figures when it comes to discussing the entertainment industry. Her interviews have frequently generated headlines because she has never been afraid to express strong opinions about powerful celebrities and the culture surrounding fame. As social media users continued sharing clips from Sly Diggler's interview, many began revisiting Jaguar Wright's previous appearances as well.
You curious?
Shoot.
It's not about putting Diddy in jail for years. It was about taking away all of his power. Everything that I said about those tapes is real. Everything that I said about all of the stuff that was on those tapes is real. Think about the amount of blackmail power Diddy had. And now that people are looking into all of his ties, for crying out loud, they're talking about there might be some tapes of him with people from the royal family. Matter of fact, the amount of blackmail evidence that he has sounds like it's about as extensive as Jeffrey Epstein. His son came out. All these people in the Epstein files, and they walking around, and my dad's in jail. And stupid ass Curtis Jackson gonna come out and say, that's because your dad had his own files, just like Epstein.
I mean, was he wrong?
Diddy is the black Jeffrey Epstein, without a doubt. Somebody that I talked to that has become a confidant in my life, he likes to call him Blackstein. That's what he calls Diddy. He calls him Blackstein.
Man, God damn it. Do you feel there was, of course, Diddy...
But it's important to remember that public conversations often move much faster than verified information. Social media rewards speed, algorithms reward engagement, and sometimes stories evolve long before all the facts become available. That's why viewers should always approach viral claims carefully and evaluate information from multiple sources before reaching conclusions. Still, one thing is undeniable. This controversy has captured worldwide attention. Millions of people continue following every new interview, every new reaction, and every new development. Whether future information confirms, challenges, or completely changes the current narrative remains to be seen. For now, the debate continues. And if recent events have proven anything, it's that Hollywood's biggest stories rarely end when people think they will. In fact, this story may only be getting started. What do you think? Are people connecting dots that truly belong together? Or has social media turned separate conversations into one massive story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next major celebrity story.